Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Will on Safety. Today is going to be the first in a whole series of Toolbox Talks called Toolbox Talk Tuesdays. And for the very first subject we're going to cover fire safety and how to make fire safety a way of life. So as we go through the key points to this subject, these can be subject to either in the home or within your businesses. So the first sort of safety point, if you like, to discuss is be alert to fire hazards. So when we're talking about fire hazards, what we're talking about is firefighting equipment maybe being blocked, fire doors being held open when they should be shut, accumulations of combustibles and flammables. All of these types of things are fire hazards. So what should we do if we come across a fire hazard then? It could be maybe blocked firefighting equipment, for example. Well, if it's safe to do so, what we should be doing is correct that hazard. If we are blocking essential firefighting equipment, we need to make sure that's unblocked, it's available for everybody to see, it's in a good state of repair, it's fully charged, and it's ready to go should it need to be utilised. If you're not comfortable with correcting that hazard yourself, then you should pass that to a supervisor, to a team leader, someone a bit further up the line, and get that action so it's corrected. You should also make yourself very aware with your emergency procedures on site or in the home. So you might have site maps which show the location of fire extinguishers, fire alarms, call points, muster points. It's essential that you make yourself very aware of where your nearest fire extinguishers are, where your muster stations are, points of exit are in and around your work area. It's no good just knowing where one fire exit is. People tend to be a bit like sheep. If there's an emergency, what happens is we will follow the crowd until we're in a safe area. And also, people are people of routine. So as we do a lot of fire drills, if we're used to going out of the same fire exit, for example, what happens then is, that will become the one that we're fixated on. If we're doing fire drills and things like that, what I would advise is, during the exercise, maybe we block off some of those fire exits and say, just have someone stood there and say, you can't come out here, there's a fire, or there's downed machinery or equipment blocking that exit, just to make sure that people are aware of other locations and other exits out of the building. So next, be sure that only those that have been properly trained use the first aid firefighting equipment, be that firefighting hoses, fire extinguishers, etc., etc. My advice for at least small to medium businesses is, why not just get everybody trained in the use of fire extinguishers? And the reason I say that is because it's not guaranteed that a fire marshal or an incident coordinator is going to come across a fire. It could be anybody. So the more people you have trained in the use and correct use of fire extinguishers, fire hoses, etc., that's only going to benefit you as a business. If there's a small bin fire and that person feels confident they can put it out with a fire extinguisher, and they do that, if they're successful in putting that fire out, that's really going to stop any rapid spread of fire, which is going to get your business back online sooner. It's going to reduce damage to machinery, be that by smoke, flame, whatever else. And really, it's going to safeguard your business. Another thing to think about then is test and clean smoke alarms. So what I found when I do audits for different companies is that when it comes to smoke alarms, I say, have you got a testing regime for your smoke alarm and for your call points? And what I'm sometimes told is it's tested by a third party and it's tested on an annual basis. My only problem with that is you have to wait a whole year to then be satisfied again that your whole system is working correctly. Best practice for me, and what I advise clients and businesses I work with, is that smoke alarms and call points should be tested at least monthly on a rotation. So you'll set a smoke detector head off. Once you've set it off and the fire alarm sounds, that smoke detector head's working. And it's the same with call points as well. God forbid you should have a fire. Somebody goes to break the glass on a call point, and then that call point doesn't operate the fire alarm. And you wouldn't realise that, unless you went to do it and it failed in the event of an emergency. What happens then is everybody goes to panic stations, and any sort of emergency plan falls flat on its face. So I would encourage you to do weekly or monthly testing of smoke alarms and call points, and just do them on a rotation. Let everybody know they're being tested, but at least that way, over the course of a year, you've tested everything. Okay. If you can, replace smoke alarms every 10 years, or as recommended by the manufacturer. We should be replacing smoke alarm batteries every sort of 6 months. If they're sort of not linked into a permanent power source. Okay. And think about emergency lighting as well. So emergency lighting is obviously there. Should we have a fire, we lose power, maybe you're on a night shift, and what happens is it kills all the electric, and it's very difficult to find those emergency exits and everything else. Well, the emergency lighting system should then come on. It's generally operated by a UPS battery system, and that will highlight all of your exits to make it easier for people to evacuate from a building. There are a couple of tests that we should be doing though. So we need to be doing sort of function tests of the emergency lights, i.e. if we put them on, do they function? If not, they need to be replaced. And it should be replaced, as soon as you can, really. You don't want your emergency lighting system or parts of it to be down, because that area where that emergency light system is down might be the only evacuation area that can be utilised at the time in the event of a fire. The other thing is you need to do a 3-hour soak test. What that is testing is that the sort of maximum capacity of that UPS power supply. So those lights need to stay on for at least 3 hours just on the battery. So you're testing there's no degradation of the battery. Again, if it fails the test, then you need to replace that UPS system. But for now, I will leave that for the Toolbox Talk. I think we've covered most things. If I have missed anything, or if you've got any questions on this particular Toolbox Talk, please leave me some comments in the bottom. If you are enjoying the page, if you're enjoying the videos, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That way you will get notified whenever I post new content. But for now, I hope you found this Toolbox Talk informative and interesting. But please remember, folks, safe by choice, not by chance. I'll speak to you next time. Take care. Bye for now.